life.
Hey, what's up guys? Tiny Tiger here, and today I got a very different video. It's not going to be related to gaming or PCs. Today I'm going to do something about my pets. Specifically the reptiles. So I'm going to go through like a kind of room tour. So we're in the living room right now, dining room over there, and the reptile room is in here. I'm going to go ahead and start with that guy over there. So over here is my jewel Lacerta. My fiance named him Kai. He is a boy. This is a temporary enclosure right now. I mean, he's still little and growing, but he is somewhat active. It's a 30-inch long tank, and I actually really don't like this tank all that much. I got this like for free on Craigslist, but it requires a lock and a key at all times, and I don't know, it gets kind of annoying. As jewel Lacertas, they don't require any extreme temperatures, so I only have like a simple 25-watt bulb that heats this up to about 87 to 90 degrees. He's got a T8 UVB right there. Substrate is like a coconut chips and Exoterra plantation soil, which is like a pulverized coconut husk or whatever you call that. It's kind of like a soil kind of thing. I mix those together to make a substrate that he can dig in, because these guys are burrowers. He loves to make burrows. I mean, you can see all the substrate that's been kicked around. I have to like fix everything every couple of days because it just gets knocked. And he always, also sometimes when I throw crickets in there for him to eat, the crickets would jump on that plant that I would have stuck, you know, to the back of the glass, and he would jump on it to catch the crickets and knock everything down. But yeah, he's, you know, eats insects and whatnot, and it's really hard to try and feed him like outside of his tank. Normally for the other reptiles, I would either tongue feed them, hand feed them, or feed them in a separate tub, so you know no substrates are in the way. But these guys are somewhat flighty. They don't like to be grabbed. You can pet him, like you can reach in and pet him, but if you try and grab him, he will dart away. So the only way I can feed him is by throwing crickets in there and letting him hunt on his own, which is kind of interesting to watch. They are very interesting to watch when they hunt. They are kind of like miniature tegus. They have the forked tongue, and if you look really closely in the face, I don't know if it'll focus, it looks just like a tegu. Anyways, that's him. He will be getting a newer, nicer enclosure in July, which is like in what, next month actually, the end of July, which is Repticon for me. Me and my fiance will be going, and we'll be getting a bunch of new stuff, and I'll be moving him to a new enclosure. Right over here is my baby Pac-Man frog. He is down there. He is a, what do you call it? A strawberry pineapple morph. These guys can be kept at somewhat room temperature, just a little bit hotter. The lights just pretty much went on and whatnot, so it's sitting at 76 degrees. It'll get it up to about 78 to 80, which is perfect for him in a few minutes to a couple hours actually, or just an hour. But this setup is pretty simple. That's actually a very low wattage light. That's like a night light, 5 watts, that I use for just lighting. There's a fake plant right there that pretty much covers most of the tank, and he will hide right underneath it. The water bowl is big, but I've only filled a little bit of water in it, so it's shallow enough for him not drowning, which I've seen him jump in, sit in for a little while, and jump back out on his own. So he's fine That background is a Zoomed cork bark background. I bought that because they are thinner than like the styrofoam ones the Exoterra ones come with, so it gives a little more room in there. His substrate is Exoterra plantation soil. I use a lot of Exoterra stuff, guys. Pretty much the only thing I do use that is Zoomed is like the lights, the UVB lights. Zoomed UVB Repti Suns are almost unmatched. Well, here in the States at least. I keep a towel on the top right here. Help keep the heat, humidity in. They don't really need humidity, just moist substrate. So you don't really need to monitor their humidity. But this towel does help keep some of the heat in. Alright, and down here is an empty tank. Oops. I'll be cleaning this tank out, and it will be used for a bearded dragon. I'll get to the bearded dragon here in a sec. This is an Exoterra large wide. It's 36 inches long, 18 inches high. Oh, and we also have supplies over here. Extra bulbs on the top. The middle one has some dubia roaches. Let me see. I'll show you guys. Yeah, got dubia roaches in here. I will be working on breeding dubia roaches here coming July also. So I'll be getting like a package of 50 breeding pairs or something like that. Down here is super worms. Not mealworms, because mealworms, I don't know, I don't really like them. These are supers. Easier to digest. Over here, got towels I use to wipe cages and whatnot. Extra reptile carpet. And this is crickets. Keep crickets in the big one. I use this thing to mist the cages that need to be misted. So, like the frog cage and the other ones over there. Anyways, I'll be moving over. So, right here. This is a planner. Let me see if I can focus this. Yeah, this is a planner for feeding. I write down in the notes, I write down who's shed and whatnot. Yeah, I'll be going through feeding today too. Got extra bowls. I use this to pick up poop. I use a water conditioner. This right here is the container of water. I treat it. I use tap water and I treat it. Remove chlorine, chloramines, heavy metals. You don't ever want to give your reptiles or amphibians just straight tap water. It's very dangerous. Over here, it's probably one of my most elaborate setups. This is a mountain horned dragon. My fiance named this guy Bonsai. He's, in fact, you can actually see him through the leaves right there, just staring out. He recently got out of shed, so he's got like some wicked patterns. You can't really see. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. Maybe you can see from right there. There you go. Yeah, he's got some pretty wicked patterns. He's a pretty cool little dude. These guys, he's about 11 inches long, I think. They don't get any bigger than that, really. Maybe the biggest one is 13 inches. This is an Exoterra 18 by 18 by 24. It's big enough. He uses maybe like 70% of this area. They're very lazy. Like when they find that high perch, they will sit there for hours and don't really care. Exoterra plantation soil. I gotta keep their humidity up too, so I like to spray it down every day. Back there's a water bowl with a water pump. These guys don't see standing water, so you want to make sure your water's running. Underneath right there, that is some Zoomed hydro balls with a mesh in the middle to keep the substrate and the hydro balls separate. When I do spray the substrate and whatnot, the water will drain down, catch here, so it doesn't make the bottom like soaked up. UVB Reptile T5 5.0. It's like 12-inch fixture, so he gets a lot of UVB. He doesn't get any heat because, like I said, mountain horn dragons also don't need to be extreme temperatures. The temperature is right over there. It's about 80 degrees. Actually, 80 degrees to about 82 would be like a hot summer for them, honestly. Normally I like to keep them around 75 to 78, so that's like perfect. Humidity is about 64%. I'm going to spray his tank pretty soon. I'm going to spray the frog's tank too. I mean, I'll be going through. I just wanted to show everybody this. And they don't really need that much humidity either, but I do spray it every couple of days. It does help with shedding and gives them a little bit of, moisture, like, oh, it's raining. Anyways, got my thermometer gun I use for basking areas, make sure the temperatures are right. Over here is Jones armadillo lizard. She is hiding. It's a girl. Her name is Moana. I don't know, after that movie. My fiance loves that movie and she loves the character Moana, so you can see her tail right there, but she's back there. I wonder if I can shine a flashlight and you guys might be able to see her. It makes the camera look really weird. I guess you can't see her, but she's back there. Spends a lot of her time hiding. She comes out and basks for a couple hours, hides, comes out and basks again for a couple hours, maybe get a drink of water. And that's just how they are. The basking temperature, that's our basking spot right there. Basking temperature gets to about 95 to 100 degrees. Ambient air temperature, it's around 80 degrees. Oh yeah, you can actually see her face right there. I did not notice that, but there she is. I don't know if it's focusing very well, but at least you guys can see her, right? Substrate is the Exoterra plantation soil. Actually, when I make that, I leave it outside to dry for like a day. So it's not gonna be too wet or moist in there. She doesn't need any humidity. This is also the tank is a Exoterra 18 by 18 by 12, so it's a low one. You can tell by the difference right there in this height. She's got a UVB 10.0, and that's like a Exoterra 50 watt what's it called, basking spot light. Yeah, that's her. Over next to her is my fiance's bearded dragon. His name is Maui, just like from the movie. Like I said, she loves it. He's a juvenile. He's about, I want to say he's about 6 months old, I think. When we got him, he was like maybe 3 or 2 months, something like that. So we've had him for a couple months now. He is in an Exoterra 24 by 18 by 12. He'll be the one that'll be moving to that bigger tank down there. He will actually be moving next month when we get at the Repticon. We'll be getting a bunch of new stuff for him. He has reptile carpet. I change the carpet out once a week. He makes somewhat of a mess in there. I think it's pretty clean right now, but yeah, he makes a pretty big mess in there. That's a reptile hammock right there that we found at Repticon last time, and my fiance wants to get a matching bed that comes with it, so she's gonna go find that. Got a cork bark hide. The basking spot, let me see, there you go, basking spot right back there. That's like a 75 watt Exoterra intense basking bulb. heats it up to 100 to 110 degrees. Ambient air temperature is about a little over 80, I think, right here. Yep, 81 degrees. UVB 10.0. I'm trying to get everyone in the process of moving on to long fluorescent fixtures. So once we move him to his new tank, I have a Reptile T8. Was it like 24-inch? I think it's like 24-inch that I'll be mounting inside there for him, so he can get all the UVB he needs. He does bask a lot, so he gets that 10.0, but it's, you know, lots of UVB for these guys are, you know, what they need. So I do feed him, and I do feed the mountain horn dragon outside of their tanks. I mean, there's no risk of impact. There's nothing in there you can get impacted with. That's reptile carpet, but I still do feed him outside of his tank. For him, I do, because, you know, there's reptile soil or plantation soil in there, and make sure there's no impaction risks. Her, I can't. She's also super skittish and very flighty, so I have to let her feed on her own by throwing crickets in there. Actually, I take that back. I do feed her from tongs. She does eat from tongs, so I don't actually toss the crickets in there, but I can't take her out. Anyways, my fiance also bought that background. It's kind of coming off over here, but it goes all the way around, so he doesn't see his reflection and starts, you know, fighting it, because they're known to try and fight their own reflections. She loves this bearded dragon, though. She is planning on getting another one at Repticon, which is where we're trying to find she wants to find another baby, so it's where it's gonna go in that tank once I move that jewel Lacerta out of it. And we're gonna go down here. This is my Indonesian blue tongue skink. There he is. His name is what's his name? Miko, sorry. I got too many animals. I mean, I got a lot of animals. This is just the reptiles. I also have furries out there, a lot of them, so a lot of names to remember. But this is Miko. He's an Indonesian blue tongue. He's a male. Sold to me as a female, but I found, like 2 weeks in, I found sperm plugs. So he is a male. He is kept on coconut chip and a mixture of the plantation soil. I do like a 30-40% coconut chip, and the rest, you know, 60-70% plantation soil. About 3 inches of it. Like, all of that is just straight substrate, because he does like to burrow as well. Once he's done basking or done eating, he will just burrow himself in there. There's usually a hide right there. I have it right here. I take it out because it's feeding time soon, so I wanted to give him a lot of room to move around after he's done eating. A little bit of water back there. It's not big enough for him to soak in, but I do give these guys usually weekly or every couple of weeks a soak. That's also a piece of tile that I use from, you know, give them an area to bask on. This is also an Exoterra 36 by 18 by 12. I want to find something longer at Repticon. Hopefully I can find someone that sells like a 4-foot long one. If I can find one. Other than that, this serves its purpose. It's pretty well. He's not super active. These guys like to spend a lot of their time sleeping, hiding, burrowing. But I do like to give them just a little more room if I can find it. He has a UVB T5 from 5.0. That's about 22 inches long. This is the basking. It's about 50-watt Exoterra basking spot. Cover up half of that right there, so keeps the humidity in. You can see the humidity is about 61%. The temperature on the cool side, let's see, there you go. Temperature on the cool side is about 77 degrees. The basking spot sits at about 95, 97 being the hottest I found. These guys are Indonesians, not Northerns, so they don't take extreme temperatures. They do like humidity, a lot of humidity over their northern counterparts. So I spray it on the tank every other day, honestly, because this stuff keeps it pretty moist. Humidity will stay at about 60%. Goes up to 70, 80 when I do spray it down, 85 probably. And then when it drops down to 60 to about 55, I spray it back. I spray it again. Let's see that other guy. He is awesome. Very, very, very cool. Cool lizard. He's chill. He hates being woken up. I mean, who doesn't? If you pull him out of his hide, he'll be grumpy. But once he comes out, basks on his own, and, you know, is fully awake on his own, then, you know, he will be cool about being picked up, petted and whatnot. Alright, well, that's it, guys. Oh, yeah, and then over here, I have just some little extra things, but this is, some pitchers. You can buy it from a dollar store. This one has calcium. That one has 4 vitamins. This is where I throw the insects in, you know, swish them around, get them dusted, and pour out any excess calcium or vitamin. Makes it pretty easy. Crickets can't jump out of it, whatever. But oh, and if anyone is wondering, I don't know if you guys can see it in this video, but this guy is actually 3 legs. Yeah, see, he's missing an arm. That will be for another story. Make another video on that. But just a quick thing. It wasn't our fault. We actually rescued him because the previous owners who got his arm taken off, part of his tail, also missing part of his tail taken off, they're idiots. They couldn't take care of this bearded dragon, so we took him, cared for him. And as for him, anyone's wondering what I feed him, he gets fed a stable diet of premium dog food, grain free, of course, with chopped up greens, usually turnips or dandelion greens. And sometimes I think I do a feeding about two times a week for him. One of those feedings, he also gets 1 quail egg. Well, I want to say soft-boiled, actually. Soft-boiled, because it keeps the yolks a little bit juicy, but not, watery. So, and I also, 1 feeding a week, I also give him a little bit of fruit, not too much. There we go. That's the reptiles, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll keep some updates and do new additions and whatnot. You guys will be able to see. Alright, don't forget to subscribe.